Okay, time to move on to some container planting. So, container planting is a bit of a nuisance because, well, there's a lot of reasons. I have some large containers, and if you look back there by the gazebo and that circle patio, you see some mid and smaller, and one over there. And so, essentially, what I do is this is a good example here. Of course, I've got my fertilizer waiting to go to work. The problem with a large container or even a mid-sized container is potting soil, like that Miracle Grow potting soil right there, is expensive, right? And you get one use out of it. You get that season. When you have a pot like this, you could use 3 big bags to fill that pot, and that's just ridiculous. So what I do is I compost a lot. And the problem with composting, for any of you out there that do it, I'm probably not telling you anything new, but it's hard to get it to the right temperature so that way it kills all the weeds. It's not difficult to make it nice soil. It's difficult to make it nice soil that doesn't have weeds in it. So what I tend to do is I use it for the bottom 2/3 of my container my container pots. I also use it like that wall garden back there that I did each year for whatever reason. The soil seems to find its way into the wall and I have to kind of replenish. And so what I do is I use my compost for that. I do not use my own compost for top layer stuff anymore because it just has too many weeds. I do, and I'll do a video sometime in the future when I'm working on the lawn and seeding areas. I have a dog and she likes to create brown spots, and so do or yellow spots. So do the bunny rabbits. And so the way to fix those is with that compost, because you know what? You're going to get weeds anyway. And you got to kill those weeds. So it's a little bit different. So I will use it for that. But the long and short of it is, what I do is I fill this up 2/3 of the way, give or take. I fill all of them up 2/3 of the way with my home done compost. And then what I do is I plant with Miracle Grow potting soil, and then I add the flowers around them and then some mulch on the top. So without further ado, I'm going to get to that. All right, tune in. Okay, so this essentially illustrates the point that I was making. Large container, no soil. Compost, if you purchase it by the bag, especially these days, I don't know, $6-7 a bag. Need 2 or 3 bags for there. Potting mix to put in there. I mean, it's like, you're looking at $30 worth of potting mix, maybe more. So, compost from my compost bin. It's not a bin. I got 2 giant piles in my woods, and that is probably why they don't get to temperature, because they don't get a lot of sun. However, I don't want a compost pile in the middle of the yard. So, hopefully this will be enough to fill that, or I'll have to go back for some more. And after I put this in, I'll throw in some potting soil on top and some wave petunias. All right, let's go get some. Well, the annuals are all in. Could be a couple here and there that I will do as the season progresses, of course, because I'm a nut. But put a couple small ones here and there just to fill some spots that'll fill in. You see I have some impatiens over there. Even though it's in sun right now, it doesn't stay that way. That's north side. So the north side is my shady side. I have to get mulch. As you can see, everything still looks a little sloppy, but we'll clean that up. It'll be a future project. Maybe in the next, I don't know, week. Depends on how motivated I feel. I'm a little beat up from putting all those annuals in, as I always am, but it's worth it. I love it. So I got the herbs in over there. Got the marguerite here, marguerite there. There's a million bell in with it. There is a couple marguerites right there. I snipped the top just to get a little more of a compact growth out of them. See the million bells in here and here. I probably should give them a little snip so that way they're a little more compact. I'll come back and do that. So normally this garden gets pretty full of black-eyed Susans, but I added a lot of soil this year because I don't know, there's something about a wall garden. Things just keep sinking, but they're starting to come. So in a month, I think it'll be pretty full, and I'll fill any spots if I have to. So this was that little garden that used to be a water treatment, and now it's an impatient garden. So impatient, no T there. So or impatiens. So I added a couple in spots here. I've got some black-eyed Susans and other things mixed in there that unfortunately are not doing great this year, and it's mostly because lack of rain, and that area, as you can see, just gets a lack of sun. So we'll do a little video maybe in the future on weeds, but all these purple, bluish purple flowers here are weeds. So these are all Creeping Charlie, and although Creeping Charlie is terrible in most places, because this is a woodland garden or gardens, it's actually perfect because it just keeps things kind of, it's a nice ground cover, and those are jewel weeds that are mixed in there, and those will fill in nicely. That's one of my compost piles over there. There's another one over there with a downed tree. All right, let's head over this way. So my peony are starting to look great. You remember the wall? We got that complete. This is where I hacked the bejesus out of my roadies, and what I did was I put some soil in here and I added a bunch of clippings of Pachysandra and of God almighty, that plant right there. I'll think of the name of it in a second. I can't believe I can't think of it, but so that way it'll fill in, because this again borders the woods, and it's somewhat natural. I did put a couple of the cleomes, I should say a few, because I put 3 here. Here's what happens sometimes with the cleomes when they're in pots for a long time. You see that's tall, a little lanky, and so it's, hanging down. So I'll probably trim it. I hate to do it because we all hate to lose our flowers, but what are you gonna do? So I put some impatiens in here. Takes a little time, but that will fill in, so that way it'll be at a point where you won't see anything but the flowers. Put another cleome right there, and this swath right here, it's not really good soil or anything. It's just a little beat up area because this used to be the whole yard actually used to have trees in it. But so I put a row of impatiens down here, and it really looks nice because the orange will contrast with those halos when they finally come out, and with the yellow and green of the bushes behind it. So this Pachysandra is where I stole some of the Pachysandra for back there, and I hope that eventually I'll get that kind of look. And those yellow, by the way, that's I think it's a moon shadow euonymus, if I remember correctly. They've been there a long time, so I don't remember. So here we have 3 more cleomes and another little spread of impatiens. So what'll happen is that'll kind of just fill in to be a nice little, and I just made this garden a little over a year ago. As the years go on, the lawn in certain areas doesn't do as well, and it's always better to turn it into a bed if you're so inclined. We're going to clean up that area a little bit there, and that you can see I did a lot of a lot of mulch. So did a little trimming this morning, some of my halos, which I'll give you a tip on that in a later video. But I got a bunch of free halos from just transplanting. But so here's a couple containers of the waves. Container of the wave right there. This area here, I normally put waves in, but I'm going to put lantanas this year. At least I thought I was. But the nursery that I went to didn't have them in stock. I'm going to wait, and if they don't have them, you know, in a reasonable amount of time, there's my backup plan. All right, so let's go take a look at the front. Take a little bit of a walk. Grass is finally starting to come in. This again is the shady area, so it's a little beat up. And these are purple gems and a white rhododendron that create a nice little wall early mid-spring. And so you can see they're obviously dying out with some of these azaleas. So I put a couple of the cleomes here, and in front you can see it's trash day. So there's 3 tall cleomes there, and again they seem to be doing pretty good even though they're tall right now. I might give them all a little trim just to get a little more compactness out of it. Put 2 right here. You can see one of them is doing okay. It's a little droopy right now. Maybe it's thirsty. You can see that one is bent, a little bit shady, so is bent over, and I'm definitely going to have to clip him. Got 3 over there in the back. Other one on the other side of the steps there. And if we head up to the front here, by the way, these black-eyed Susans here were all volunteers. I did not plant them. I just, there was some that came as the equivalent of a weed from other plants, and they just started doing well there. And so then I think I may have added 1 clump, but they like it. The coreopsis here, which is right next to the hostas, and the hostas, of course, I planted in the sedum, as well as those hostas are over there. I did not plant that giant dandelion in the middle, but and I did spray them, these hostas, future reference. It looks like this would be like a little scorch on that hosta or those. It isn't. It's a fungus, and drives me crazy. All right, so over here you see where we started, and you can see that some of them are perky already, but this will be incredible when it is done, as well as hopefully everything. All right, listen, I really appreciate you spending the time with me. If I figure out how to do this, upload things and the such, I will post more videos, and I think that I can help a lot of gardeners that are weekend warrior gardeners. And if you liked this video or these videos, I guess we all know what the next begging comment is. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends, family, cousins, ex-wives, ex-husbands, everybody, I guess. All right, thanks again.